In this video, we are going to take a look at some of the problems that companies face in the consumer packaged goods space and how data analytics with Sparkflows can help. First, we will start by discussing the problem and some potential solutions, and then we will take a look at a fully built example in Sparkflows. Looking at the CPG market as a whole, strong growth has been projected for many years to come. However, this overall growth comes with some caveats. Consumer sentiment and spending habits are changing faster than ever. Combined with a destabilized macroeconomic environment, this has led to uncertainty across the CPG space. Diving deeper into some of the specific challenges companies are facing, we can identify areas that can be improved using new data analytics solutions, such as Sparkflows. More importantly, we will be focusing on defining buyer behavior patterns, cutting the costs of putting models into production, and improving visibility into evolving demand. We can further categorize the various challenges we identified by the business function and areas of need. By focusing on different categories, we can also narrow the scope of every analytics project. For this example, we will focus on improving the scenario in the bottom left-hand side box, or the green box. Now that we have identified the issues we want to solve using data analytics, we need tools and a platform to build and execute. This is where Sparkflows enters the picture. Sparkflows gives users of all capabilities, from data engineers to business users, the ability to build what they need. Sparkflows has been instrumental for many companies already. In fact, Sparkflows is already being used in the CPG space, including by one of the largest players globally. Sparkflows provides both the scalability and flexibility to empower organizations of any size. Let's get started taking a look at the example already built in Sparkflows. This example will be focused on customer segmentation. For this specific example, our main aim will be to create a clustering model. Let's start with our workflows. The first workflow is our EDA workflow, or data exploration. Here we are creating numerous charts and graphs to help us better understand our data and how it relates to our customers. As you can see, each of these nodes is drag and drop and requires no code. Let's take a look at the execution of this workflow. Here in the execution, we can find all of the outputs from our node, from the different columns and unique counts to different charts that we have created. Here is a chart of the household keys and their transaction counts. If we hover over, we can see the precise values. Specifically here that household 19 has a transaction count of 4,646, being the household that uses our products the most. We can also change the view of the graphs using the controls in the top right, or we can change how we view it by filtering. In this case, we will sort them by transaction count. This makes it easier to see and to compare how the households stack up against each other in transaction count. Scrolling down farther, we can also see the purchasing count of each of the different products. As we can see, this product here, 1000050, is extremely popular in our online store. We can also see the purchase count by different baskets instead of particular products. Here we can see the frequency versus the amount of each transaction. We can see clearly here that the most popular transactions are between $8.17 and $3,839. This will be our target market going forward, as we already have strong growth in this area. We can also see other types of visualizations, such as line charts, and in the same way, we can hover over them to see particular values at different points. Now let's go back to our project and explore some of the other workflows that have been built. Next is our data enrichment workflow. This workflow takes in our incoming data and essentially is creating new features out of our data. This will be useful for when we do other types of modeling in the future and even for our clustering that we will do now. We can see that it calculates different statistics using the data and then saves it back into the machine. There's no need to connect to any other machines as Sparkflows themselves can handle all of the data in one place. Next, let's look at our feature engineering workflow. This workflow takes in data from multiple sources at once and then joins them together and then creates a final output that can then be used by our clustering nodes. The first step here is to join all of our tables. And finally, we can also create new groupings of the data and modify the data here in the same workflow. We have split the work up into multiple workflows to make it both easier to understand and easier to manage and modify in the future. As you can see, even the join nodes here require no code to write. Next, let's look at our customer segmentation. This is where we will build the actual clustering model that we will use for segmenting our customers. Here, as you can see, it is equally easy to build machine learning models as it is to do data transformation or data exploration. We simply use our no-code and low-code nodes to then create our models. Next, we can also save our customers' information along with the cluster information back to the machine. This will make it easier to load into future workflows and for use in other cases. Finally, with our workflows, we will take a look at our model evaluation. This is where we load in the data that we created using the cluster, and then we can also create visualizations to help us better understand and gain insights from our machine learning models. As a next step, we can also build upon workflows. While workflows themselves can be executed and the results can be viewed in the executions page, we can also build upon them by creating reports. This makes it easy for other users, such as business users, to then view the work that we have done. In this case, we have taken the output from our model evaluation workflow and we have put them into a report. As you can see, it is much easier to view visualizations and outputs here in the form of a report than it is in the executions page. It is also separate from the workflows, which can immediately remove some distractions and simplify the viewing experience for other users. Here we can see how the clusters are separated, either by the private label coupons or the campaign coupons or in-store coupons, and we can see how each one affects each cluster. As an overall view, we can also see the distribution of the clusters and what percentage of the users fall into each of the cluster categories. We can then use this to improve our models in the future or as an exploration step before creating other forms of models. If you want, you can also export the report here. This makes it easy to move it over and send it to other people without the use of Sparkflows themselves. Building upon this, we can also use applications or analytical apps. Analytical apps are a way to build in some form of flexibility into our workflows and make our workflows usable to other users and have them execute it themselves. Let's take a look at the customer segmentation app that has been built here. In the first stage, we are simply providing more information about what the user will be able to configure in the next stages and what each of these do. Using an analytical app like this gives the user a UI to work with, so that even business users can use this without having to edit workflows or work on more technical details. In this stage, we're simply selecting our operation. Let's select EDA to find out more. Here's the configuration page that we specified for EDA. Here we can select what kind of store, the in-store discount, manufacturer coupon discount, the calendar year or the time period, and the campaign coupon discount. After the user has selected all of the options that they want, they can then run the workflow directly here from the Analytical App page. Thank you for listening. This was an overview of what it would look like for a CPG example using Sparkflows.